Valley Club. I hear Old Man Logan is a big problem in Arena right now. Well, if you got the right characters, I've got all the solutions for you in this video so you can smash every single one of your opponents in Arena mode. Sword Satellite, it is back. It's coming up next week. Should you prepare right now for it or wait? And last week we talked about how to get more gold. Today we're talking about how to get more training mats, and it is Monday, so we're answering the rest of your questions for the mailbag. And if you're ready for all of that and more than Valley Club, you know what to do. Find that like button and let's go slash it. And hey, bub, welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin. Hope you're having a great day. In this video, we're answering your questions in the mailbag and discussing how to beat Old Man Logan in Arena right now. Huge problem, especially if you want to climb in this Guardian event that is starting today. But before we get to all that and your questions for the mailbag, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content. At least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on this channel. Usually it's more gameplay videos, question and answer videos, news videos, everything of your experience in Marvel Strike Force. Let's jump backwards a little bit into last Friday's blog post where they described the Alliance event from far and wide. For this, you're gonna have to do some raid battles. This is starting today, and we see this image header here. It has an image of Sword Satellite. This event has nothing to do with Sword Satellite, but where we do get that first indication of the Sword Satellite, it was the data mines last week. So let's go jump ahead to these data mines. Now, these data mines are courtesy of MSF.Tools and Brother Rocket. Where it says right here is earn Mystic Gear in this exciting event. It's called Mapping the Wilderness, and you can earn lab supplies and a chance for some Crimson Mystic Gear. It talks about the Sword Satellite here, and this relates to 4th of July. Now, win this event, if you battle in a race with Sasquatch Guardian or North Star, 5 yellow stars, looks like you're gonna score even more points. I'm not sure if this part is gonna change because the Alliance event we have right now does have some battling in raids with these characters. So this part may change, but it does look like Sword Satellite is coming back where we take this data mine and the image header that we saw from Friday. Now, it does talk about the next month-long milestone event, Wilderness Expedition milestone. For this, you're gonna need to collect lab supplies, and then the meta item in this Sword Satellite event is gonna be map number 1 fragment. Now, what you can earn in this event, some of the rewards will include Dark promo credits, Elite 7 credits, Mystic Gear. Now, based on what we're seeing with these rewards, I'm not doing anything to prepare right now for this. One, because we don't know if the floors are going to be exactly the same. I believe with the previous 2 iterations, they had the exact same enemies on all the floors. They just added some floors, but they never said that it's going to be that way all the time. So I'm not doing anything based on that. Also, based on these rewards, they don't look too appealing. Of course, these are all data mines. They are all something to change, but I'm not doing anything for this right now. But let me know if you are doing anything to prepare right now. Now, if you do want to start to prepare right now, remember there's 2 main tower modes that come back from time to time. The one that we had a few months ago was Kiln Tower. That is one that features 3-person teams. Both of them you want to climb to as high as floor as possible to get the most amount of rewards. But the one coming back next week is the one that originally used to introduce diamonds, featuring 5-person teams. So hopefully all these teams are the same. You already have them built up and you could just climb to as high as possible, but hopefully these rewards are as good as well. Let me know your thoughts on Sword Satellite coming back. Let's move forward to the questions of the week. ValleyFlyin, I'm sorry if this has been answered somewhere else. Is there a best teams for Incursion raids infographic? There's not an infographic that I know of. There may be one out there, and if you know of one, Valley Club, let me know in the comments down below. Maybe you could put the link there, but it should be pretty easy. I'm not sure if you need to have a infographic on this. Basically, you go into these Incursion raids right now. The first section is Mystic, and the best team that you could use in the Mystic section is going to be the Bifrost team. So there's not a lot of options there. Now, let's say your Bifrost team, you're trying to sim this and this dies. Well, you do have a few options there that you might want to bring in. Other than the Bifrost, you got other characters like Dormammu, Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes, the Eternals, Quicksilver's there. So you do have some options if the main team dies, but yeah, you're pretty much locked into these teams here. The next section is the tech section. That features Pegasus. Pegasus is going to be the best team in that section. And then there's a few other backups. So you got characters like Kang. You got characters like Green Goblin Classic, Vulture, Dr. Doom. If he didn't die in that Mystic node, you could use him here as well. Doc Ock. They're not great, but if your main Pegasus team beat most of the node, you can go in with some of these other characters and hopefully get a cleanup for that. And after the tech section comes a mutant section. The best team here is going to be the Extreme X-Men, not a lot of other options. Now, the one caveat to this, if you don't already have Cyclops built up, you didn't bring up your Extreme X-Men in the past, you can build up Old Man Logan to using that Cyclops spot of the Extreme X-Men, works very, very well. But if you're just looking for a cleanup, most of the node is done, and you're just looking for a team to bring in to clean up what your Extreme X-Men couldn't finish. Apocalypse is great. Omega Red is great. Miss Marvel Hardlight has a little bit of value. Old Man Logan is one of the best characters in the game right now. Firestar has a little bit of value, so you have some options as far as the cleanup. But the best team to bring in, obviously, is going to be Extreme X-Men, either the full team or some hybrid version with Old Man Logan in there. The next section of the Incursion race is the bio section, and pretty much the only team that can handle this is going to be your Hive Mind. And if that Hive Mind sim does not go well and there's only a few enemies remaining, well, characters like Super Skrull can handle that. Lizard's a great option there. Captain America and Captain Carter are a great pair because they did have some rebirth value in the race. They got a rework, so the stats are up to date. So pairing Captain America, Captain Carter with Super Skrull is a great option. Titania has some value as well. Do not bring in any of these Spider Society characters. They do have, some of them do have that biotech, but don't bring them in. You're going to need them for the skill section. Red Hulk, Nova, those are some great options for cleanup as well. The team you want to use on this skill nodes is going to be the Spider Society. There aren't many other options. The Invaders, the previous raid team, they're all pretty much trash nowadays, so only Spider Society. And if for some reason the Spider Society doesn't complete that sim, well, you do have some backup characters. They're not going to do much unless there's only a few enemies remaining. Black Knight's a great character though. Kestrel, if she didn't die in those previous Pegasus nodes, will be a great option to bring in. Black Cat is great. Craven is great as well. So you do have some options for cleanup, but hopefully you and your alliance mates have a very strong Spider Society and don't have to worry about a cleanup. And last but not least is this boss node here in the middle. The great thing about this, all your alliance mates can team up with this, so you can just do one hit and leave it for one of your alliance mates to hit it. Or if you want to complete this, normally what I do is one hit with Hive Mind, then I follow with Spider Society. Usually that kills that. If that still doesn't work though, I get a bad sim, some bad RNG in that sim. Usually I bring in the Extreme X-Men and that handles this node. But the good thing about this node, you could chip away at this and let one of your alliance mates finish this off, get some of these first time reward, or front of these completion rewards. Or you could go in and beat this yourself. The great thing about this is only one person needs to beat this and everyone ends up in this last boss node. So variety of teams, but I would end up using one of those previous teams that we mentioned. Valley, hope your week is going well. Same to you, my brother. Just recently celebrated my 1 year on the game. Ooh, congratulations on that. Hope I've earned a tinfoil hat moment. Yeah, I think everybody has a tinfoil hat moment if you survive Marvel Strike Force more than 3 months or so. Haven't seen anyone mention the fact that Taskmaster got an icon update. I think it's strange. Possibly a hint that he could be getting a rework / update sometime soon. If he was ever meta, I missed his time. Do you have any thoughts? So Taskmaster had 2 main times to shine. One was when this mercenary team was introduced. We brought a bunch of different mercenaries together to make a war offense team. He was a pretty good character on the team, kind of brought some mercenaries together. It's pretty cool. Then we got Mr. Negative added to the game and Underworld became a thing. They still are countering a lot of what you would see on the war defense right now. That team is based around Mr. Negative, Kingpin, a few other characters. Very, very good team. You could argue they're still relevant right now, but I wouldn't say they're meta. But as far as the Taskmaster change, this is what the icon looks like now. This is what it looked like previous to the change. So I do find it strange that they would switch from this icon to this icon using dev hours to make this switch to add some graphics without any plan. So they have done some new animations for characters in the past. I think the first one with the community knows was when they changed some animations for OG Spider-Man. He wasn't doing this animation previously. A few months later, we got the Web Warriors team in the game. Hulk was another character that they changed the animation. We used to have a little tiny mini Hobbit Hulk. Then when you would go into ISO 8, you would see this big Hulk, that the big Hulk was actually in the game. Well, later we got the Gamma team. The other weird tinfoil hat one that we had was Captain Carter. Doesn't do it anymore, but previous to her rework for Out of Time, you would go into this ISO 8 screen, come back out, should be standing with her motorcycle. Doesn't do that anymore, but like I said, that was a few months before we get the Out of Time announcement. Then she was reworked for the Out of Time. So there may be something to this Taskmaster. It may be in the next team and maybe a few teams down the road, but usually they don't do these kind of visual changes without some kind of plan. So I think this is a good indication that Taskmaster may be moving off of the Underworld, maybe moving to some other team within the next 6 months or so. Also, if you're allowed to disclose it, is there another Envoy meeting happening anytime soon for you and all the other Envoys to go to Dev's office again? Are you allowed to disclose any date? So once we have dates, we're not allowed to disclose any, but since they haven't discussed anything with us or any dates, then sure, we can discuss whatever we want. So the first time I went out to it was a Foxnext office at the time, back in 2019. That was around September time. And I believe this most recent trip last year with a bunch of the other envoys was around October-ish time frame. So I would think if they would do something again, it would be September, October time frame. But they haven't discussed any dates with us. But once they do, I don't think we can discuss it. They had a big NDA on the trip, but until like a week before the trip. So yeah, there probably is going to be something, and we probably won't be able to discuss it when we know about it. Top of the day to you, my brother. I have 2 quick questions. First, you need about 15,000 gold training mats to level up all the characters on Level Up on Apocalypse. Where's the best place to get gold training mats? Second, can you level up characters without gold training mats? Short answer, yes, you can level up characters without these gold ones, these L4 training mats. You could also use these L3s, L2s, and L1s. Now, these L4s are gonna give you the most experience. If we check out the experience here, we have 10. We add 1 L4 that adds 1,600 experience to the level. So you're gonna need to add as many of these to get your character to whatever level he needs for that next level. All of these L3s, these purple ones, they will add 800 experience. Your L2s, these blue ones, they will add 200 experience. And these green ones, these L1s, only 60 experience, so not a lot. So yes, you can level characters up without these gold ones, but you're gonna need a lot more of these green, blues, and purples to level them. So in last week's video, we discussed way to get more gold and more gold ore fragments. We're gonna do the same with the training mats and training mat ore fragments. So on Nexus, you're gonna have the even nodes have these gold ore fragments. You're gonna have them on the odd nodes for your training mats. So Nexus, 5-9 training module here, 3-9 training modules here, and 1-9 more training modules here on the Absorbing Man node, the Union Jack node, and on this Infinity Watch Thor node. Now, the hero section is where you're gonna have some gold ore fragments. The villain section, we're just gonna get the training mat ore fragments. So we're gonna have this on the Black Panther 1mm node. You have some here. On 4, you have some on the Dazzler node, or the Dagger node, excuse me. And on number 5, number 6. Number 5 is for heroes and the gold ore fragments. Number 6 is on the Viv Vision node, where you get all these training mat training orb fragments as well. Now, in addition, on certain nodes, there's not just training orb fragments. Every time you do a node, there are going to be some training modules. This node has some L2 training modules and some L3 training modules. Not a lot with gold, with the L4 training modules, but these do add up, and you can use these to level up your characters. The other main source of your training modules is going to be the arena store. Now, if you have a lot of these arena characters already maxed out, you can use some of these arena credits on these L3 training modules, 20 at a time for 500 arena credits. For some people, that will be worth it. Some people, it won't. If you're really starved of training modules, and again, you have a lot of these arena credits, you should start buying these from the arena store. Yo, oh my lord, brother, it's been so long since I've heard from Valley. Is he doing good? Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for the question, my brother. Hey, Valley, coming to you from the land down under. I've just unlocked Apocalypse. Congratulations. That is a major accomplishment. Now torn between pushing for Dark Dimension 6, trying to get a 7-star Apocalypse. What would be your suggestion? Thanks in advance. So for my roster, I think Apocalypse is still a little more valuable. So for me, I would be pushing towards Apocalypse. But the good thing about both of these characters, they have different requirements. So again, Apocalypse, the big boy Apocalypse requirement is this gear tier 17, but mainly the big sticking point is this ISO 8 level 5. So yes, get your horseman characters at ISO 8 level 5 to get that big boy Apocalypse. And then of course, Dark Dimension 6, the main requirement here is gear tier 18. So while you may need to use some gold and training mats to level up certain characters to get them to the levels, you could actually equip that gear on them. I think you could work towards both at the same time. Work towards your horsemen, put that ISO 8 level 5 on them, and work towards your Dark Dimension characters, put that gear on them. I have a weird question. Why do content creators telling new players to skip Apocalypse? My issue with this, they're giving new players the wrong advice. They're gonna get hurt sooner or later by Apocalypse. So as far as other content creators, I can't speak for them why they're telling other players things, but the content creators that I've dealt with, they give advice because they think that is the best advice. So if they're telling people that, they probably have their reasons and they think it's good advice. My advice though is build Apocalypse. I think he's a great character. he is needed, in my opinion, to counter Old Man Logan, especially in arena. That match is very, very hard if you cannot kill Old Man Logan with the empowered basics. So I think it's the right thing to chase Apocalypse. One other thing that you may want to consider in that chase for Apocalypse, I didn't mention this earlier, but there was word that the devs wanted to change up the requirements for Apocalypse. They did change up a lot of these legendary requirements. I thought they would change up the Apocalypse requirements around then, but we're still waiting. So the only downside going for Apocalypse right now is if we get an announcement that, hey, we're changing the requirements for Apocalypse, and you start to put your gear on the bad characters. That would be the only downside. If you're not fearful of that, though, build Apocalypse right now because, yeah, he's one of the best characters in the game, in my opinion. And Valley, my man, I hope all is well. Just finished Dark Dimension 6 for the first time. Congratulations, my brother. Looking to try to climb in my arena ladder a bit. Currently just at Baby Apocalypse as well. Any teams you would suggest? Yes, there are. Unfortunately, a lot of the teams and counters to Old Man Logan right now do involve the big Apocalypse. You can still beat Old Man Logan with a Baby Apocalypse, but you won't have that empowered, all those empowered abilities, giving them that ultimate earlier and getting to that empowered basic a lot earlier. You do want to try to get Old Man Logan to that empowered basic because he will not be revived and it does a lot of damage. Now, unfortunately, with a Baby Apocalypse, he's not ulting on turn 1. He's ulting after a few turns, and this may be too late to get that off. What it does, one of the main things that getting that big boy Apocalypse does is this ultimate only 8 ability energy, so you are able to use that on turn 1. Once this is empowered, you could use that on turn 1. You're also adding more max health, more damage. That is going to help killing and keeping Old Man Logan dead. So one of the major problems in arena is because of Old Man Logan. I don't think the devs totally play tested the trials, and a lot more people were able to unlock Old Man Logan at the newer account status than I think they wanted. And that's kind of a problem in arena because without a big Apocalypse, there's an Old Man Logan there. It's probably going to end up being a 1v1 Old Man Logan match, and once you get into that scenario, it is a endless loop. That battle will not stop because he's going to keep getting that revive once from his special. So the way to deal with that is having that big Apocalypse basic so Old Man Logan cannot come back to life. So I'm not sure what the popular defense is as the newer ranks without Apocalypse and Super Skrull on defense, but what I'm seeing pretty much every arena match is these 4 characters: Black Knight, Old Man Logan, Super Skrull, Apocalypse, and the 5th usually rotates. Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes is one that I see a lot. Void Knight is probably the most common. I see Dormammu sometimes. I see Black Cat sometimes. This is an interesting defense that I haven't really seen before. We have Black Cat in place of Black Knight, and I think that is to prevent the Dormammu counter that we're using here. So let's go take a look at some of my arena offenses, see what I'm doing to counter these teams. And we pretty much have 4 teams that I'm using. One is kind of overlap. So when I see the Void Knight team, I use this here and I try to get Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes ability blocking Void Knight so that we don't get pushed together. Sometimes I go with a more fun option to use Doom. Doom is a tricky character to use because if he bleeds out, he gives you no benefit. He doesn't get pushed. He doesn't give you a lot of benefits. So you kind of want to try to time this right, try to place him right and get lucky so that he does his ultimate and gives you that time rewind. Black Cat is the 5th, is who I normally am using when I see Dormammu as the 5th for defense. Removes the revive once, has an early stun. Usually I'm using that Apocalypse. Sometimes I'm using that on Super Skrull based on how the RNG of the match goes. And usually with any other team, I'm using Dormammu as the 5th. This allows Super Skrull to come back to life. Old Man Logan will come back to life anyway with his special, but Black Knight comes back to life, and Super Skrull Black Knight coming back to life usually is enough to beat most defenses out there. So let's go have some fun. I think the Ghost Rider ability blocking Void Knight is a little bit more of a guaranteed match, but I like the ups and downs of the RNG of Doom. Let's go use Doom in this counter. And normally the timing of this goes very, very well. We do have Old Man Logan placed next to Black Knight, which is the proper defense. Sometimes we do get a stun from Super Skrull on Dr. Doom, and that is not a very good scenario. Let's go and rewind Old Man Logan here, turn meter a little bit. We do hit him, so he gets some turn meter back. There goes their Black Knight hitting our Super Skrull. There goes their Old Man, or their Super Skrull. We're winding our Old Man Logan a bit, but we don't go in front of him. They win the coin flip. We'll do our ultimate right now, and there is our revive once. And now we get pulled together, and hopefully Doom gets pushed properly. Does he get it? All right, there he goes. He gets pushed. All right, we got the one. Oh, we got what we wanted. Black Knight is stunned, so we could use that there. Do we get the taunt off? We get the taunt off of him. Who do we want to go after with this? I think let's get a little bit more damage on Apocalypse. And here we go. Big doom. Boom. Does give their Old Man Logan a little bit of turn meter, but that is fine. We're going to kill him right now. Let's get this stun on Apocalypse. We could get it on a Void Knight. Doesn't really matter. As long as we get the empowered basic on Old Man Logan, we should win. There we go. Oh, uh-oh. Here it comes. Boom. All right, and yes, Apocalypse gets a lot of turns in a row. Let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. Let's kill their Apocalypse. Kill the Scroll. Let's go kill the Black Knight, and then Void Knight doesn't have a lot to offer at that point. Oh, let's get the Claws out with a big ultimate. That is a scenario that the Doom ult worked very, very well, but there are some times it doesn't. But I like this matchup. This is a fun counter. And that is it, Valley Club. Hopefully this video helps you in smashing your arena opponents and climbing as high as you can with these Guardian milestones. If you got some value from this video, leave it a like. It is free for you. Tremendously helps the channel. And if you want to see what are the best characters in Marvel Strike Force, check out the video up there, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out.